Ignazio. That name alone carries so much emotion for fans around the world. A name that echoes through concert halls, television screens, and hearts. You know him for his laughter, his radiant smile, his charming presence, and the powerful voice that can move anyone to tears. But what if I told you that behind that laughter lies a story filled with love, loss, and moments that would make even the strongest hearts break? This is the hidden story behind Ignazio's marriage, one that will make you see him in a completely different light. Ignazio was never one to chase fame for its own sake. Yes, he loved singing, he loved performing, but he valued something far deeper than applause: connection. Connection with his fans, his friends, and above all, with the people he truly loved. And among all those connections, there was one that stood out, one that changed the entire course of his life. Ignazio met her long before anyone knew about it. She wasn't from his world of music or fame. She wasn't someone who cared about red carpets, cameras, or followers. She was simple, kind, and full of life. The kind of woman who could make him forget he was famous. The first time Ignazio spoke about her privately to friends, they said his eyes lit up in a way they hadn't seen before. She gave him peace, something he desperately needed in a world that constantly demanded perfection. At the beginning, they kept their love hidden. It wasn't out of shame or secrecy, but protection. Ignazio wanted to protect her from the harsh light of fame. He'd already seen how cruel the media could be, twisting stories, chasing gossip, and turning private love into public spectacle. So their relationship grew quietly, away from the spotlight. When Ignazio went on tour, they communicated every single day. He would call her from hotel rooms, send her voice notes of melodies he was working on, and sometimes even dedicate songs to her privately. While the world thought his romantic performances were just for the audience, there was always one person his heart was truly singing to: her. But life on the road was hard. Ignazio's schedule was endless. Rehearsals, recordings, shows, interviews. There were times when weeks passed without them seeing each other. Still, their bond never faded. In fact, those long separations only made their love stronger. He used to tell her that every city he visited reminded him of her smile. Ignazio's friends noticed something changing in him. He became softer, more reflective. His jokes, while still funny, carried more depth. His songs carried more emotion. He had found a love that inspired him to grow, to think differently, and to appreciate life's quiet moments. And then came the proposal. Ignazio didn't want a flashy engagement. He didn't want to do it on stage or in front of cameras. He wanted it to be just between them, simple and sincere. So one evening, while they were walking along a quiet beach, he stopped, took her hand, and asked her to spend her life with him. She said yes, through tears and laughter, promising that no matter how crazy his world became, she'd always be his peace. Their wedding was everything he dreamed of: intimate, elegant, and full of love. Family, close friends, a few tears, and a lot of smiles. When he looked at her walking down the aisle, Ignazio couldn't hold back his emotions. To the world, he was a star, but to her, he was just a man. One who loved deeply and completely, but behind all the beauty, there was a shadow. Unknown to most people, Ignazio's wife had been struggling with her health for some time. It wasn't something she wanted publicized. She didn't want pity or attention. She wanted to live her life quietly, cherishing every moment with him. And so they both carried that burden silently. Ignazio became her rock. Whenever he wasn't performing, he was by her side, taking care of her, making her laugh, playing guitar to soothe her pain. Those who knew them said he was a different person in those moments, tender, gentle, and fully devoted. He would sometimes cancel events without explanation, just to stay with her. The media often speculated, thinking he was exhausted or needed rest, but few knew that behind those cancellations were nights spent in hospitals or quiet care homes, holding her hand through the pain. Ignazio's wife was his inspiration. She gave him strength, purpose, and reminded him why love is the most powerful thing in life. But as her condition worsened, the reality became harder to ignore. He tried to be strong, to keep his usual smile on stage, but there were days when the weight of it all became too much. Fans would notice that sometimes his eyes seemed heavier, his expressions more distant, his voice trembling just a little more than usual. And then came the moment no one could prepare for. She passed away quietly, leaving behind memories that would haunt and comfort him in equal measure. The world didn't know. Ignazio didn't make an announcement. He didn't want sympathy or attention. He disappeared from the public eye for a while. No performances, no interviews, no updates, just silence. His silence was filled with grief. Those closest to him said he spent his days writing, not music for the world, but letters to her, words he could never say out loud again. He'd sit by the piano and play the melodies they once listened to together. Sometimes he'd sing softly, tears streaming down his face, as if singing to her soul. When Ignazio finally returned to the stage, everyone noticed something different. His voice, always powerful, now carried something unexplainable. It was as if every note came from a deeper place. He wasn't just performing anymore. He was telling a story through every song, their story. You could feel it when he sang love ballads. You could see it in his eyes, the way he'd close them during emotional moments, as if reliving memories only he could see. Fans would comment, "There's something about the way Ignazio sings now, something that touches your heart." And they were right. His music became his therapy, his healing. But even as time passed, Ignazio never truly stopped loving her. He still wears a small ring on his right hand. Not a flashy one, just a simple band. Those who know him say it belonged to her. He keeps it as a reminder that love never dies, even when the person is gone. Ignazio began supporting medical charities quietly, funding programs without putting his name on them. He didn't want recognition. He wanted to honor her memory. Every time he helped someone, he felt like a part of her still lived on. His fans eventually learned bits and pieces of the story, from songs, interviews, and moments when he let his guard down. He once said, "Love doesn't end when someone leaves. It stays in the air, in the songs, in the things they touched." That one sentence broke millions of hearts because now people understood why his music carried so much emotion. Behind the fame, behind the laughter, Ignazio was living proof that love can be both the greatest joy and the deepest sorrow. He found a love so pure that losing it changed him forever. But instead of letting grief destroy him, he turned it into something beautiful. Music that continues to touch hearts around the world. Sometimes during concerts, Ignazio will glance upward before starting a song. Only he knows why. But if you look closely, you'll see that in that moment, he's not just singing for his fans, he's singing for her. The story of Ignazio's marriage is one of silent strength, deep emotion, and love that refuses to die. It reminds us that even the people who make us smile the most are often carrying the heaviest burdens. His ability to keep loving, to keep performing, and to keep smiling despite his pain is what makes him extraordinary. And if there's one lesson his story teaches us, it's this: never take love for granted. Cherish the people who stand by you, who make you feel safe, who see you beyond your fame or flaws. Because sometimes the moments you share quietly with them end up being the most powerful memories you'll ever have. Ignazio's life today continues with music, but behind every lyric, every performance, there's a story of a man who once loved so deeply it reshaped his soul. His songs aren't just melodies, they're messages, whispers of love to the one he lost, carried through time by his voice. And that's what makes this story so heartbreaking and yet so inspiring, because love like that never truly disappears. It becomes part of who you are. So next time you hear Ignazio sing, remember, you're not just hearing a song, you're hearing the echo of his heart, the memory of his wife, and the proof that love, even through pain, is eternal. And if this story touched you, if it made you feel something deep inside, then make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more stories like this. Because behind every smile, every song, and every success, there's always a story waiting to be told. One that reminds us that love, even in sadness, is the most powerful force of all.